shown at the beginning of the film. In a morgue, a man named BJ with an Abaddon tattoo has sex with a corpse that has a biohazard symbol on the toe tag. Afterward, he handles an empty test tube while washing up. Samantha is trying to get over a recent breakup with her girlfriend, Nikki. The party's host, Alice, plies her with strong drinks, while Zane offers her drugs. After she becomes heavily inebriated, Samantha is approached by BJ, who offers her a drink. Even though she tells him that she is a lesbian, when she begins to black out, BJ takes her to his car and rapes her. The following day, Samantha thinks she is suffering from a bad hangover. She bickers with her mother, who struggles to accept her daughter's lesbianism and is worried that she might have relapsed into hard drug use. Alice tells Samantha that the police are searching for BJ, whom Alice had never met. At the restaurant where she works, Samantha has trouble eating and is overly sensitive to noise. She can't hear her customers as they order their drinks. When she bleeds heavily from her vagina, she visits her doctor. Despite her protests that she is a lesbian who has not had sex with men for nearly a year, he is suspicious that she has contracted a sexually transmitted disease from heterosexual intercourse because of a rash that has developed in her groin. Samantha is also constantly vomiting and urinating copious amounts of blood. Eventually, a maggot falls out of her vagina in the bathroom without her noticing. Samantha tries to repair her relationship with Nikki, who is rude to her. Samantha is hurt to learn that Nikki had not notified her that a scholarship offer had come in the mail. Meanwhile, her symptoms continue to worsen, with her eyes turning bloodshot and her hair falling out in clumps. On her way to her doctor, her work calls and says she needs to be at the restaurant until someone can come in for her. As she makes salad, her boss tells her to remove her sunglasses. Noticing her eyes, Samantha says she has pink eye. By this point, Samantha's condition had worsened to the point of her skin being pale, and she had developed dark blue veins on her face and a sore on the side of her lip. Returning to the kitchen, she notices something is up with her fingers. Samantha starts to mess with them, and she pulls a nail off. Then, a female customer screams after finding a fingernail in her salad. Samantha flees the restaurant and returns to her doctor, who advises her to avoid contact with other people until tests can determine the nature of her disease. Instead, Samantha visits Zane, who gives her heroin. When Alice arrives, she encourages Samantha to talk to the police about her encounter with BJ. Believing Alice wants to isolate her from her other friends, Samantha argues with her and storms off. Zane reveals to Alice that he sold Rohypnol to BJ at the party. After a violent argument with her mother, Samantha turns to Nikki for consolation, but Nikki coldly rejects her and calls her sexually confused. Nikki tries to shut the door, but an enraged Samantha slams the door into Nikki's face before choking her to death. She then drives to Alice's in a rage, and Alice tells her to get out of her house and grabs a knife. Samantha says, "You finally have me," and they kiss. Samantha then vomits blood into her mouth. Alice runs away, but Samantha violently attacks her and murders her by biting into her throat and then hitting her with a blunt object. Losing her sanity, Samantha invites Riley, a man who had a crush on her, to Alice's house and seduces him. They engage in sexual intercourse, but Riley then comments feeling wet and tingly inside her, and then upon withdrawing his penis from her vagina, he sees an excessively abundant amount of bloody maggots fall out of Samantha's vagina and becomes repulsed. He then goes to the bathroom to vomit and inspect himself, including his groin and genitalia, which are covered in massive amounts of blood. While wiping himself, he opens the shower curtain and discovers Alice's body in the bathtub. Samantha flees the house. As she drives, she fades out of consciousness and is involved in a car crash. She emerges from the wreckage, transformed fully into a zombie. Her mother, who has arrived at the scene, begs the police not to shoot Samantha. As the police caution Samantha against moving, she lunges at her screaming mother. The film ends with this scene.